Niners faithful, how are you feeling? Those faithful to the Bay, how we doing this week? Hopefully you're having a great week. And can I just say, come one, come all to C-Train Station to talk football. Let's get with it. What a week. What a weekend, right? The San Francisco 49ers have come out of their wild card round victorious. Yes, wow, look at that. Goosebumps already from C-Train at C-Train Station. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Ooh, and how do we like that? In the comments, if you want to, you can express your joy towards that last victory because it was sweet. We love it when the San Francisco 49ers go into other people's houses, right, and win. But we especially love it when the Niners, I mean, look, some would call Philadelphians or whatever some would call their Eagles fans dirtbags. Some would call them scumbags. Anyways, so the Niners beat the Eagles. So let's have our little news and notes, a little C-Train update, and then the preview to the Seattle game. But hey, I think that before anything, I think that I seriously, personally owe somebody an apology. Yeah, I owe someone on the Niners a big time apology. That person is San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, Coach Shanahan, sir, well done with your coaching. Guess what? I was wrong. I apologize for the harsher words I may have said in the past. I don't apologize for the critique, but any of the harsher words, I apologize for. Let's move forward. Is that okay? Can we move forward, though? I've been incredibly critical of Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan for years. My contention was is that his overall record with the Niners was not indicative of what I would construe to be a great coach, okay? Here's the thing. You don't make Super Bowls if you're not at least a good coach, right? Seriously, you don't make Super Bowls unless you're a decent coach. And Kyle Shanahan has done that. In my opinion, I know this is like a 180. We're going to 180 today, folks. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, Kyle Shanahan has actually earned, for all intents and purposes, more or less permanent tenure as coach with the San Francisco 49ers. With Kyle Shanahan at the helm, I can actually dig it. What has helped, I must add though, what has helped Shanahan so much, in my opinion, is having a proven defensive coordinator that has his back. And this is what I can say. When Kyle Shanahan has a defense behind him and doesn't necessarily have to worry about said defense, doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff. And he just needs to worry essentially about offense and like morale. Kyle Shanahan cooks, man. He cooks. And when he's feeling sort of more relaxed and the Niners start to have fun on offense, it's like a whole new level of entertainment and also danger to opposing defenses. And we absolutely love that. What a win against the Eagles. The 49ers defense, they held. Absolutely, they held. I was impressed by Robert Saleh putting his defensive players in position to succeed. And like there is one play that just exemplifies that for me. Marcus Siegel. He is maybe like a slightly maligned defensive back for the Niners, was in. And if there's one thing that Marcus Siegel's actually really good at, it's open field tackling. And guess what? Coach Saleh put Siegel in position to make like an incredible open field tackle on Saquon Barkley, but that's what he does. That's what both of them do. Saleh puts players in position to make plays, and Siegel did what he does best. Not cover, honestly, not cover deep. Make plays in space. Make those open field tackles. It was like Robert Saleh was giving Siegel like a formational layup, slam dunk, and Siegel took it. tomahawk dunk, amazing play. I don't know if anybody, great. It's like I wish that I sort of had the play, but there was an incredible open field tackle, Siegel on Saquon Barkley, and that sort of just exemplifies, in a nutshell, what I'm talking about with just Robert Saleh's dominant defense and putting his players in position to make plays that are like sort of down their alley, right? The pass rush was just enough to put a little pressure on Hurts. And honestly, like, I think Jalen Hurts sort of got happy feet on a couple plays. And that happens, though. That happens when a quarterback isn't necessarily comfortable. Did the Niners pass rush get to Jalen Hurts? No, not really. Did they get a sack? I don't really think so. It doesn't really matter. I mean, not a whole lot, but did they pressure enough to make a difference? You're gosh darn right they did. Hey, Keion White, well done. Good addition not at the trade deadline. I think it was a week before the deadline. Good addition to Keion White. He is, with his athleticism, with his size on the defensive line, he is able to make an impact just by disrupting, right? Disruptor number one, Keion White, you did your job. Well done, sir. Upton Stout. Can we talk about Mr. Upton Stout for a sec? Upton Stout had a wonderful game. Now, Stout is a nickelback cornerback who has shown the abilities. He's shown the ability to make plays deep down the field. So he has that coverage ability, a few knockdowns and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, I like that. I like when he's making plays down the field. I'll tell you what I love, though. I love when Upton Stout is close to the line of scrimmage because he wreaks havoc. He can make plays around the line of scrimmage. He flies around there. It's blitzing off the edge as a corner, disrupting those. He almost intercepted that screen. It was like a screen or like, a little swing pass for Hurts at like the 50-yard line that Upton Stout got a great pass deflection on. He is great near the line of scrimmage. And I understand. It's like he has to do, like, the Niners scheme can only dictate so much of what their defense actually does, right? They have to react and they have to play and counter in offense. But it's like the closer we get Upton Stout to the backfield, the more plays he's going to make. This isn't a guy that's not going to make plays when given the opportunity. This is a gentleman that knows how to make plays, and I absolutely give him all the credit. A rookie, what was he, a third-round pick? Upton Stout, well done, and we're going to need you against the Seahawks. I could tell you, all right? I already said this, but Marcus Siegel had an amazing game in the Niners' defensive backfield. And I told you the play that stood out. What can we say about Garrett wallowing here, and Eric Kendricks? They did just enough. Well, I'll tell you what, they didn't do just enough. They did a really good job, specifically and especially in the second half, of shutting down that prolific Philadelphia Eagles running game. In my opinion, those Niners linebackers were actually like the unsung heroes of the game. They kept the defense together just enough to bend, but not break. And we can dig that. Hey, there's one really funny. I think that, honestly, like Philadelphia's offense was trying to hunt Wallow a little bit at the linebacker position, and it's really interesting. Pre-snap, hey, shoot me like a comment if you remember this play. Pre-snap, Wallow and Kendricks switch on defense. They switch positions on defense, like real quick pre-snap. You see Hurts, he audibles and he switches up because I truly believe that the Philadelphia Eagles, that they were trying to get Wallow in some one-on-one, some bad, disadvantageous positions, right? So it was hilarious, though, right? Because Wallow and Kendrick switched positions, and then they switched back, and they switched back before the Eagles could audible and switch their defense, totally causing disarray. Well done, heads up play, Robert Saleh. Heads up play, 49ers linebackers. We love stuff like that. I love gamesmanship like that. They did the job. On offense, let's talk about the offense a little bit. Brock and Shanahan did just enough to make it count when it mattered. Now, I was critical of Brock Purdy. Gosh, those 2 interceptions, it's like, buddy, you can't, I believe there would be not as much stopping the San Francisco 49ers from a Super Bowl. Maybe from perennially just contending for a Super Bowl, which they have been, but hear me out. If Brock Purdy would take those really easy checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey, I believe that not only, well, he definitely wouldn't have thrown 1 interception. One time, he just looked off CMC, and he threw that pick. Not good. But, like, I think that the Niners would be in an incredible position. It would be very, very hard to stop them. So, one thing, it's like, and this is going to become crucial as we're projecting towards Seattle. Seattle has an aggressive defense, and they do not respect the Niners offense anymore. Like, they just don't. I don't think that they do. I think that, like, that beatdown a few weeks ago has the Seahawks riding high, but this is it. You can easily use that against the Seahawks. How can you do that? Easy. Screen passes, little shovel passes to tight end. What you do is you get that over-aggressive Seattle defensive line and linebackers running downhill at Brock, and then Brock just pass it to right where they were, right? Pass it like so. Linebackers come up and blitz it. Everybody's aggressive. Sneak those tailbacks out of the backfield predominantly and primarily Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk as well, and maybe even Robinson in a pinch, right? Every now and then. But it's like, use the aggressiveness and run some screenplays. And it's like, if Seattle bring any type of numbers on defense against the Niners, like put 7, 8 guys in the box, if they do anything close to that, and they come, the Niners essentially, like, if you take the space where I believe the over-aggressive Seattle linebackers are coming from, you will only have defensive backs to beat. You will have already beaten that whole defensive line, that whole front 7. And I really think, and I really hope that the Niners can use a potentially over-aggressive Seattle front 7 to really just sort of, they call it dink and dunk, but like get some nice short passes for long gains right out of the backfield. I think that it's going to, number 1, a few screen passes will keep Seattle's defense honest. Number 2, you're going to be productive. You're going to be successful against that. Just Demarcus Robinson, good job. 58-yard pass early. I think he got a couple passes later on. Really good job from the wide receiver position, keeping the Eagles sort of. He kept he did his job, okay? Demarcus Robinson essentially did his job. He kept the Eagles' defensive backs relatively honest. That's what I was going to say, and then I was making up words. He kept the Eagles' defensive backs relatively honest, okay? Props to Christian McCaffrey. Oh, wait, excuse me. Let's reverse course. The Niners' offensive line needs their flowers as well for that Philadelphia game, right? Much maligned, honestly, right? But just like the Niners' defensive line, the Niners' offensive line, they held just enough, right? And not like actual holding, right? They were able to keep Philadelphia Eagles defenders off of Brock Purdy just long enough to make that difference. And guess what? Just long enough to win the game. Okay, that's long enough. If it's long enough to win the game, that's long enough, okay? Props to Christian McCaffrey, so we're going forward now. CMC, man, he got hard yards inside, and those were honest yards. I mean, they were few and far between when he was able to break anything, right? But he pounded away on the inside, and props to CMC because the Niners needed that. They needed that for some clock control. They needed that to keep the defense honest, and they needed to provide a couple body blows to that Philadelphia defense, which the Niners offensive line and Christian McCaffrey was able to do. I love that. Colton McKivitz is like much maligned. He did decently. Trent Williams, well done. That Niners interior offensive line, they held at least what could be called a pocket for Brock Purdy to pass from. This is all good enough to win, and in the playoffs, that is all that matters. We got to get to it. Okay, let's see. We got to get to it though. Unfortunately, George Kittle tore his Achilles. What a devastating injury. But I'll tell you what, if there's one person on this Niners squad with the heart, with the energy, with the spark to recover and rehab and to go at it. How about this? George Kittle, I believe, loves and respects the game of football and his body enough to come back with a vengeance. There we go, the goosebumps again. And I believe that he will. I believe that Kittle will come back with a vengeance. But hey, I have to say, Mr. Kittle, sir, take your time. Take your time. It may not be realistic. 9 to 12 months is like your average Achilles recovery, right? It's not realistic to expect George Kittle to be on the field next season. I do think he will probably make his way, especially if the Niners make the playoffs next season. I think that we may see George Kittle, but look, you've done everything. You've sacrificed for the team. You take care of you, and Niners faithful will support you through that process. George Kittle, we love you, brother. Stay strong, sir. Looking ahead to one more time. Hey, with the loss of George Kittle, though, can we say this? It's possible that we might get Fred Warner back. Yes, Fred Warner has now gone through his first light practice, essentially like a walkthrough, but for all intents and purposes, he is checking every metric that needs to be checked, and we will just see what happens. But I can tell you this, like, if the Niners if Fred Warner can even dress for that game against the Seahawks, I think that will make a little bit of a difference. A bit of a difference, maybe not. But the Niners need every little bit that they can get, even if that's sort of a spark from a player that it will probably definitely be on a snap count, but may not actually play. Fred Warner, you are inspiring your club, you're inspiring Niners fans, and you're inspiring football fans with your comeback. Thank you for your diligence. Well done to you and your family for the commitment. This. I said this. It's like this is a Niners team that you can really, really get behind. These guys are like the underdogs. It's just, I love what they are about this season. They're sort of inspiring, right? Things have not gone well for them. They have had to adjust. They have gone through lots of aches and pains in the season, but they are still there fighting, and they never tore apart. And I think that we can all sort of learn from that. I'm not even kidding. And that is, when I go back to, because we're just spitting right now, right? We're having fun at C-Train Station. And like, when I think back to that Eagles game, I think back to that A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni blow up and whatnot. And I think about how A.J. Brown how he had that bad drop later on and whatnot. And then I think about how that's like the opposite of what Kyle Shanahan has done. Instead of being divisive and inciting like Sirianni is, and that's just him, and I get it. Like, Kyle Shanahan has brought and kept this whole team together through thick and through thin. And to keep those men motivated and eyes on the prize is it's part of what coaching is all about. Looking ahead to the Seahawks game, will the Niners be able to create enough offense to have a shot? Whether you have Brock, Kyle, and CMC, when you have them, you have a shot, in my opinion, especially with Trent Williams back, okay, on offense. So I believe that they have a puncher's chance. The key will be for the 49ers to healthily exchange early in the game. They cannot get down by a bunch of scores. 2 scores, 3 scores. The Niners have to exchange. That's what I mean by healthy exchange. The Seahawks get an opening touchdown. Okay. The Niners don't do the Niners go 4 and out their first series, but then the Seahawks go 3 and out, so it's 7-0 Seahawks. The Niners must exchange on their next possession. They don't have to get touchdowns, but they have to exchange. Get points. Get points. Take points. Thrive from that and gain that momentum. If the Niners aren't able to create that consistent offense early, the Niners defense, I am afraid, will eventually likely break under the immense pressure of the persistent physicality of a Seattle Seahawks defense that, again, essentially, like, I believe that they respect the Niners, like how every human being respects every human being. Everybody in the comments be like, you know what I see on social media, I actually really don't think that every human being respects every human being. Strike that from the record, okay? The Niners defense, the Seahawks are going to come out to punish. I believe that they are going to try to just annihilate through a bruising running game, just beat them down, but then go to like a Jackson Smith and Jigba, like down the field. Because I don't think that Jair Brown, whether he's playing or not, I think that Marcus Siegel will probably be the starting safety. I don't think that Jair Brown is in line to play. He's got a hamstring injury. I can easily see the Seahawks pounding that running game, but then taking their shots downfield. The Niners need to have a steady enough run defense to where those shots that Seattle are going to take aren't going to be like one-on-one shots. So like, here's an example, is I believe that Seattle is going to try to pound the running game until the Niners commit lots of defenders inside the box. Then when they're inside the box, Seattle will go over. Folks, this isn't like rocket science, right? When the Niners defense is inside the box, I believe then Seattle will try to go over the top past them. And I believe that the Niners will be susceptible downfield because Marcus Siegel has been a little bit susceptible downfield to the downfield passing attack, okay? So the Niners, they gotta really attack that Seattle running game. They need to impose some sort of physicality to make Sam Darnold do anything other than the first option. If you make Sam Darnold think, ooh, he might not be that good at that. I'm just messing with you, but like, Sam Darnold is known for sometimes making mistakes. As every human being, but like at quarterback, he makes some speculative decisions and throws. The Niners need to play into that. They need to help force Barkley into some bad throws. It may not be by manufacturing a pass rush. It may be by stopping Seattle's running game enough to the extent to where Darnold is forced with 3rd and long, so 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 9s. We love that. It puts pressure on Darnold, and we just want the pressure on him. We'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens, okay? Trust me on that. Let's get a prediction. We have to. We have to get a prediction, and I've had this in my head for a long time, not a long time, for like half the day, and I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. My prediction for this game, the San Francisco 49ers come out victorious. I believe the score 24-21. I believe the Niners are going to be victorious against the Seattle Seahawks 24-21. I hope that Christian McCaffrey has a big day out of the backfield. And also, remember this, if somehow Ricky Pearsall can get out there, I believe that opens everything up. His speed and just his ability to run successful routes to get open is unlike anybody who the Niners have on their roster right now. Okay? My prediction one more time. 24-21, the San Francisco 49ers. Did I say 24-20? I'm not sure. But hey, guess what? The real prediction, 24-21, Niners pull it out, and they are on to the NFC Championship game. I got to know, though, in the comment section, I got to know your predictions. Seattle, San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers go to Seattle. What's your prediction? Write that, please, in the comments. Do the like, do the subscribe, do the follow thing. And of course, for your San Francisco 49ers content, do the like, follow, subscribe. And I'll see you next time at C Train Station. Take care and have a good one. Enjoy the game.